Reading. In today's society, reading is looked at as a way to increase knowledge, increase awareness in certain situations, boost brain productivity, and so much more. Alright, so if it does all this, then why don't people read more actively? From my experience, I learned that reading is boring as fuck. because we're taught to read books that don't interest us at all. Before we continue, let's listen to my beautiful poem about books. Books. How can a piece of literature have a grown man shook and a young child hooked? At a certain point, people give up on wanting to read. They must not know what it means. To read is to know what's ahead. Keeping yourself uneducated will leave you sped. Anything anyone ever wanted to know already came from someone else's head. Whole wide world of answers is just written in pen. But you already knowing this don't truly want to ascend. People think books are boring, so they're already refusing to understand. And I know this firsthand, because I was that man. Hated reading because the people around me would make me read what I considered uninteresting. Failed the permit test 4 times because I thought reading was a pain. Don't start reading after this video because it might be too much for your small brain. Let's start small, so grab a comic book and don't skip a frame. Reading too much might make you insane. Your brain might literally collapse from all the strain. Your motivation to read will start to wane. You will start pressuring yourself and inadvertently make reading something you hate. From my experience, it helps to see it as a game. Alright, so let me explain a bit about the poem. I myself never liked reading, but I consistently read manga and comic books. I also failed the permit test 4 times because I just really I just kept going, thinking I was gonna get it at some point. I didn't really bother to study. And for that last part, I honestly see life like I'm leveling up and gaining experience points, like it's a real life game. Like you don't start something and just become a master. It takes it's about going at a steady pace that works for you, never shying away from taking that next step, you know? And eventually you'll get there. But yeah. Now that we got the basic gist out the way, welcome to the video. I know it's a little late, but this is a guide to reading from someone who hated reading. Step 1. Either start small or start on your flaws. Most people in our generation have a short attention span, so they probably can't just pick up a book and read it start to finish unless they're highly motivated. And even in that state, your reading stamina won't be strong enough to digest the information and take it in properly. So my recommendation is to start small with a comic book, graphic novel, or manga. But if you're weird like me, a children book that you've already read will do the trick too. Starting small will help you get more used to sitting down and reading for a period of time, which I know for sure you aren't capable of. So you're probably wondering, what do I mean when I say start on your flaws? Everyone has issues or problems they wish to fix but can't be bothered to work on, and essentially are running from it. Some examples of things books can't help you with are compulsive lying, stealing, cheating, beating on women, listening to NBA Youngboy, and so on. Buy a book that can help with your problems, so now every time you fuck up and beat your kids after you come home drunk, you'll end up looking at a book and giving it a couple reads when you're guilty. My tip is to invest in a bookmark, because chances are you'll probably stop reading because you think it won't solve anything, and that's where the bookmarker comes into play. After 6 more of those meetings, you'll probably make it to chapter 2 and be more invested. Step 2. Movie books or show books are key. If you ever liked watching Harry Potter movies or Game of Thrones, I can guarantee you the books were better. This is just a fact. Books can stuff more details and information in that movies just don't have the space for. A lot of your favorite movie books probably have a lot of things cut or had to tone it down for the general public. If you like a certain movie, I put it on my soul, the book was better, mainly because it earned that movie. Step 3. Read books that interest you and finish it. For me, I learned I liked reading only after I watched every anime I could, and then I read every manga I could, and then when things got really bad, I tried out web novels and light novels, and it was interesting, but I couldn't really stay invested. It was only when I discovered Wuxia novels that I like truly fell in love. Real quick side note for the people who don't know what a Wuxia novel is, basically it's like an adventure story that like takes place in ancient China. Sometimes the people don't live on Earth and are in another reality, but they have like Chinese names still because the people who wrote it are Chinese or Korean. It's a good read if you like fighting, mythical abilities, power ups based on your like philosophical understanding of the world around you, and revenge stories for the most part. What really sold me personally was how some characters would fly, but they weren't necessarily flying. The one character in the fantasy book, a fantasy novel that I was really interested in, would train till their body consisted of air and use that said air and compress it and push it from underneath their feet, so they would fly, but it wasn't true flight. It was something more akin to like walking in the sky. Going back to step three, reading books that interest you will make reading fun and build your reading stamina. And reading other books at the same time is a big no no. It's best to focus on one book and actually finish it. Reading other books at the same time will hinder your progress and you won't be able to finish either of them. Finishing a book will give you something like a mental power boost. Your focus will go up, you'll be able to complete tasks regardless if you want to do it, and you're more welcoming of different ideas and knowledge. That last one takes like maybe like 15 books, I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, these are my 3 steps to stop being stupid today. I would say post your favorite books in the comments, but I know you monkeys don't actually read. Thanks for watching my guide, and peace, peace, love, love.